What's going on, everyone? My name's Tim Williams. We're here to break down tonight's 15-game MLB slate over on DraftKings. If you are new to the channel, what's up? If you love playing baseball DFS, you are in the right spot here. I hope everybody watching had a profitable day yesterday. I know I did here. We're going to break down each and every one of these 15 games on tonight's slate. We're going to talk pitching, hitting, where we're going to kind of lean, maybe in some stacks, some over-unders. We got some weather concerns, but a lot of good weather hitting games today. Before I jump right into these 15 games, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I don't want you to miss out on any of these future breakdowns here. Tons of good information in these slides. If you haven't signed up yet or hit that subscribe, I don't know what you're waiting for. Make sure to like that video, comment below. I really want to talk with everyone, see where we're kind of, what direction we're kind of going here. So without any further ado, let's dive right in. First game here, we have the Marlins taking on the Phillies. Marlins favorited here on the road, 8.5 over under here. You have Rogers taking on Velasquez. Rogers, 9.7K. I think that's a fair price for him. 29.5% strikeout rate, 8.4% walk rate, which is a tad bit high to where I'd like to see it. Does a pretty good job limiting the fly balls here. Really, it's the control that's the issue. In general, against the Phillies 7th overall in average, 4th in on base percentage versus left-handed pitchers. Rogers has looked pretty good this season, but I'm just a little bit worried we're starting to see his floor a bit more than the ceiling. So if I'm building maybe, 1 to 20 lineups, maybe I'll have some shares of Rogers, but I think I'm going to probably fade him in this one. And then on the other side, Velasquez, 7.2K, 27.2% strikeout rate here, 40% fly balls. That's just what he is. He allows a lot of fly balls here. He walks a lot of guys, near 13%. That's a little scary. Doesn't matter who the opponent is. 42.2% hard contact rate. Velasquez is just a risk, right? Marlins, it presents a decent matchup here. The over-under is pretty low. Guys in play here, I really like to see the right-handed batters. Sanchez, 2.3K, mainly because his price is so cheap. If he's in the lineup, Duvall, 3.7. Obviously, you can get to Marte, and I don't mind getting to Jazz here, but definitely some options on the Marlins side. And then on the Phillies side, I'm really just looking for value in a lot of these games. McCutchen 3.5 does just that. I don't mind paying that price for him at all. Yeah, I'm sure, Harper's in play and all that stuff, but Rogers is still a good pitcher here. I don't know if I necessarily want to attack him. You might just be better off either avoiding rather than, there's 15 games on this slate. So McCutchen, I don't mind on the Phillies side. Next, we have the Rays Nationals here, 8.5 over under. Rays are favorited here. Hill taking on Ross. We'll start with Hill, 9.4K. A little too pricey for me on this big slate. I don't mind him as a pitcher at all. 25.5% strikeout rate. Walks are a little up, 9.8% walk rate, 43.4% hard contact rate. Just a tough matchup against the Nationals. The Nationals just don't strike out a ton. They really challenge the opposing pitcher. And then on the other side, Ross, 8.4K. Strikeout rate's fine, 23.5% here. Walks are up, 8.9% walk rate. Does give up a ton of hard contact. Gives up more contact to left-handed batters, right? The last 3 outings for Ross, we're starting to see his ceiling a little bit. 32 points, 7 points. There's his floor. And then 37 DraftKings points in his last 3. So he has looked pretty good. Rays, I know they can strike out a ton here, but I just kind of lean Rays bats. I don't know if I trust Ross really in this spot. I think you could go there, right? The price is kind of high though. And we'll talk about these Rays bats. Really wouldn't mind getting to some of the lefties here. Lau is my favorite. I think the price is really nice on him, 4.9. Meadows, definitely in play. Wendell. The Rays have a lot of left-handed batters that can really just maybe get to Ross here early. And then I don't mind Franco, 4.7K. I'm kind of up in the air with it right now, but it could because the price is a little high. But in general, in the minor leagues, he has pretty good splits as a left-handed batter versus right-handed pitching. So he's definitely in the mix. A lot of these Rays guys definitely are. I think they're going to be somewhat popular here. But remember, it's a 15-game slate, so I don't know if I really worry too much about ownership. There is a Coors game, et cetera, et cetera. So, and the other side here, National Schwarber, 4.8K. He's just been insane. Like I don't know how he's under 5.8K, right? He seems like a good play here, even as a one-off. Turner, 5.7. Gomes, I don't mind him if he is starting against lefties here at 3.7. So next, you have the Angels, Yankees, 10 over under. Yankees favorite here. Heaney taking on Tyon. Heaney, 29.5% strikeout rate, 8.5 K price as a pitcher. He gives up 50% hard contact here. He really just pitches to contact. I don't like the matchup. I don't like the stadium he's pitching in. It's going to be hot. This is the summertime now, so we're going to really see a lot of these offenses put up a ton of points. I just don't think I'm going to get to Heaney. And then on the other side, Tyon, 7.4K. Strikeout rate's always been kind of fine. He's kind of hovering right in this range, 24, 25% strikeout rate. He just gives up a lot of fly balls here, right? And then lefties, 376 WOBA against him. I just don't trust Tyon here, nor should you probably. Angels really tough matchup here. Mainly really just interested in the lefties here. Ohtani, 4.9. Somehow his price just goes down from what yesterday was. 4.9K is really, really silly. Obviously he's a clear, probably my number one-off here, right? As probably many people. Walsh, 4.4K. Rendon's in the mix. I don't mind getting to a lot of these Angels bats because we're going to need to save some salary here. The thing about it is, they might get to Tyon early, right? But the Yankees have that decent bullpen. On the other side here, Judge at 5.4. I think he's always going to be in play as long as he kind of hovers in that 5 to 5.5K range. He has power upside, double dong upside. The Yankees just need to get to Heaney early because the Angels' pen has been bad, but Heaney's not a bad pitcher. So Yankees just really been struggling lately here. So really leaning on these Angels lefties here. Next, you have the Mariners, Blue Jays. Blue Jays favorited here at home, 10 over under, home being Buffalo. There might be some rain in this one, so keep an eye out here. Flexen taking on Ray, not interested in Flexen at all, just a guy that doesn't get a ton of strikeouts. As you can see, 47% ground ball rate. Doesn't do a bad job there. Not bad at limiting the fly balls. He's just worse against righties. He's just an average pitcher, right? And then on the other side, Ray, 10.5K. I think he's going to be somewhat popular on this slate. I am a little concerned with the weather here. Ray's strikeout rate is really, really good this season, 31.5% strikeout rate. He does get a ton of ground balls here, 45% ground ball rate. Hard contact rate is up. He does give a lot of hard contact. Worse against right-handed batters in general. The walks have been down for him this year. He's just looked really good. I'm just concerned about the weather. I don't know if I want to pay 10.5K. He's one of the highest priced pitchers on the slate. Haniger is the one Mariners bat I would be interested in, maybe as a one-off at 4.7. And then on the Blue Jays side, you have the band that is always in play here, right? Guerrero, Semien, Springer, Bichette. Hernandez is fine too. Springer, I like the most maybe because of the price at 4.2K, but keep an eye out on the weather here, maybe some delays. And that's the thing too. If you're looking at rostering Ray, it's not so much the hitting I'm worried about with the delays. It's, is there going to be a rain delay in the third inning? And then, it's 40 minutes later and Ray's out. So keep an eye on that. Next, you have the Padres Reds, 10 over under here. Padres favorited on the road in Cincinnati. Snell taking on Santillan. Snell, just not a ton of interest there. Reds are kind of a challenging offensive team. 7.6 price is pretty nice. You're getting the strikeout upside there, 32% strikeout rate, just about. The walk rate is there though, 13.5% walk rate. He gives up a ton of hard contact, just giving up a lot more contact to right-handed batters in general. And then with the Reds, Santillan, 7.1K, in his limited sample size, 26% strikeout rate, but 14% walk rate really scares me. Gives up a ton of fly balls. Definitely interested in Padres bats. I think they might be the highest owned stack on the slate. Cronenworth, his price is coming down a little bit, 4.7K. That is more than palatable, stomachable. It's very good price. Tatis 6K. I don't mind paying that at all. You know what you're getting out of him. Grisham 4-1. That's too cheap. Machado 5K. Fine. Pham 4.6K. You can get to a 5-man stack easily and pay up for some aces. To get a little bit different, you can look at some of the bottom of the order guys, but Padres definitely in play here. And then on the red side, this is interesting. Early on, the prices are fairly cheap. Like Castellanos is 4K, India's 4K. I think Winker's in the picture, right? There's just so many other places to go here. I don't know, it depends what we're going to get out of Snell. So just keep that in mind. Reds, I think, are certainly in play, but I don't know if they're going to really be like the optimal lineup here. Padres bullpen is one of the best in baseball. So keep that in mind too. Next, we have the Royals Red Sox here, 10.5 over under. Red Sox favored it at home. Keller taking on Pivetta. Keller 5.8K, no interest there against the Red Sox. Strikeout rate's fine, 18.5, sure, for that price. He just walks a lot of guys. He's a ground ball pitcher who, does a good job at times limiting fly balls, gives up a ton of hard contact in general, which is, not ideal. So definitely a guy I'm somewhat interested in stacking against. And then on the other side, Pivetta 9K. The strikeout rate's fine, 27.8% strikeout rate. He walks a lot of guys, 11% walk rate there. Does give up a lot of fly balls here. It is a nice day out in Boston. Wind might be blowing out. It's definitely hitting weather here, so I'm avoiding pitchers at all costs here. Royals, I think, in play here very much like they were last night. Santana 4-4. I think that's too cheap for his upside. Merrifield, that's where you're kind of balancing out the Santana salary, 5.7K. Soler, I don't mind at 3.4K. Honestly, any of these cheap guys, I know they're not producing, right? But, the Michael Taylors of the world, I think, are in play here for sure. We're going to need to find some salary savings. Red Sox bullpen, they have been pitching okay, but I think in the long run, I don't think they're all that special. So, and then on the Red Sox side, Verdugo at 4-1, just way too cheap, right? Martinez 5-6, Bogarts, Devers. I'll pay those prices for those guys. Like if they're in that 5 to 5.5K range, I think they're solid. Hernandez at 3.8. He looks to be hitting better once the warmer weather is coming around. I, prefer him against lefties here, but Keller doesn't scare me. So Red Sox definitely in play. We'll see what some of the, once the lineup comes out, what kind of value we might be able to get from them. Next, we have the Tigers Indians 9.5 over under. Little rain here, probably fine in general. I don't think there's going to be like any postponements, maybe a delay. I don't know. Urania taking on Mejia. I'll start with Urania, 5.1K is a pitch to contact guy. He's not going to get the strikeouts. He's going to walk a lot of guys. He's just going to throw the ball down the middle of the plate and just challenge the Indians hitters. And then on the other side, Mejia 6.1K, 26.4% strikeout rate, and that little sample size that he has, near 10% walk rate. So that's kind of like a big no thank you. I know he's pitching against the Tigers, right? I could see maybe in GPPs, but like, he did get 20 points out his last start. It's really the only start where he got, good fantasy points. I'm not sure how far he's actually going to go. I'd like to just see a little bit more of a sample size. That being said, I'm not even really interested in the Tigers bats on a 15 game slate. Badu 3K, Cameron 2K is fine. And then on the other side with the Indians, I definitely have some interest here. The Indians are 29th overall in strikeouts in Major League Baseball, literally right behind the Houston Astros. So that's pretty impressive in its own right. Yeah, they suck at hitting for average. They don't really get on base, but they hit the ball, right? Ramirez at 5'9", I don't mind getting there. I think the ownership's going to be low. Bradley, same thing. Eddie Rosario, 4K. Indians kind of went off yesterday, so I think they're an interesting play here. The over under is kind of high, right? So interested in the Indians pending weather. Next, you have the Mets Braves 9 over under here. Braves favored it here. McGill taking on Morton. Migo 4.9K. I don't think he's going to go very long in this game. Maybe 4 to 5 innings at best. Struggled against left-handed batters in his first outing, so that's something to keep in mind. Morton on the other side, 8.8K. I think that's just a little bit too cheap. It kind of hovers around where what I would probably pay for him. It's a 15 game slate, so maybe the ownership is down. Let's talk through his stats here. 27.6% strikeout rate, 9% walk rate here. Does a really good job with the fly balls, 25% fly ball rate, gets a ton of grounders, near 50%. The Mets aren't really all that scary, right? Mets in general, 26 overall in strikeouts. So that's the one thing that they don't strike out a ton here, right? Just like the Indians, I guess, but they're 27th in home runs, 26th in average. I just think Morton is a far and above, way better than an above average pitcher. So for that price in a big GPP slate, I don't mind getting there at all. And then on the other side with like the Braves, Freeman's probably the top option for me at 5.6K. Acuna obviously in play here. I'd rather just go to like Tatis. But Acuna, the ownership will probably be lower. Braves in general, just a little bit pricey. I don't really see a ton of results. Like Albies is priced at 5.6K. Like I'm not going to go there. The Mets bullpen 10th overall in ERA. So even if Miguel doesn't go very far, the Mets have a pretty decent bullpen. So next game here, Cubs and Brewers. And before we talk about this game, thank you to everyone who has been watching. Really love making these breakdown videos and playing DFS as well. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel to not miss out on anything else. So Cubs Brewers here, 7.5 over under. Brewers favored it here at home. Davies taking on Woodruff. This is an interesting one here. And as you can see, it's kind of like empty. Davies 6.9K. I think the price is like kind of cheap, right? Brewers are pretty talented offensively, maybe not so much in the batting average department, but Davies himself, under 15% strikeout rate, 12% walk rate. That's kind of scary. He's a ground ball pitcher. The results have been there, right? 3 out of his last 4 starts, when this is DraftKings points here, 22, 28, 23. There was one bad game in there. I don't think I'm going to, get there. The over under is pretty low, which is very interesting. And then on the other side, Woodruff, he's probably the best pitcher on the slate, one of the best pitchers in baseball, 11K, 32% strikeout rate. He's just elite. He has the upside. The Cubs overall 4th in strikeouts. So I'm just not interested in Cubs here. Definitely interested in Woodruff. And then Brewers bats, like they're kind of priced up here. I don't know. It's kind of like a coin flip. Is Davies going to get you that 20 to 25 point game? He's a ground ball pitcher. I don't really love to attack ground ball pitchers all of the time. So Brewers kind of remain interesting to me. It's still early, so they're definitely in my player pool, but as of right now, I'm going to kind of look elsewhere. Next game here, we have the Twins, White Sox, 8.5 over under. We have some rain, some possible delays similar to yesterday. Yesterday's game was postponed. So today we have the same pitchers. Maeda 7K taking on Giolito 8.7K. Maeda again 20.5 strikeout percent. He's just been getting hit around a lot, both sides of the plate here. His last 3 DraftKings games, 16, 17, and 14 points. It's not bad, not ideal at 7K. I don't think we're seeing a lot of the upside here anymore with Maeda, at least right now in the season. And then on the other side, Giolito, it's funny, man, because he was over 10K yesterday. His price dropped dramatically to 8.7K. Don't know why. 31% strikeout rate here, 8.1% walk rate, which isn't ideal, but fine, I guess. Worse against right-handed batters, 42.3% fly ball rate. He has given up 17 home runs in 15 starts this year. So he will give up the possible long ball. I don't mind Nelson Cruz at that price at 4.8K. Right-handed batter with a ton of power. I'm not going to go too crazy in this game just in case of the delays. I don't know if I'm going to really get any Giolito in my player pool because of the delays. Same thing with like Robbie Ray. What if there's a rain in the 3rd inning, right? It's just something I'm going to try to not think about. There's too many other good pitching options on the slate. So maybe you get Giolito at a lower ownership percentage. We'll see. But Cruz, and then that's kind of it. White Sox kind of struggling here on the offense. Next, we have the Orioles, Astros. No over under yet, but Astros are favorited here. Wells is listed on DraftKings. I don't believe he is starting anymore. I'm not sure who will be starting, but it's going to be a bullpen game. Orioles don't really have a great bullpen. And then on the other side for the Astros, Urquidy at 9.9K. I think that's maybe a little bit too high of a price, 22.4% strikeout rate. He does have really good control. He's actually been pretty excellent. He is a fly ball pitcher. That's just what he is, right? He is at home. He's facing an Orioles team that, the lineup isn't all that special. Some of the righties I don't mind here. Mancini at 4K, Mountcastle 3.6K. I'm also, interested in Urquidy, even though the price is a little bit high, to get a little bit different. And then on the other side with the Astros, Tucker is my favorite Astros bat based on price and upside, 4.3. Altuve in the mix. Brantley 4.4 is fine. Correa, I think he might not play this game. So that actually might bring a lot more value on the Astros side. So keep an eye there. I kind of went heavier on the Astros yesterday, right? Those lineups maybe didn't really necessarily get there. I think they're going to go somewhat lower owned again because of some of the other spots here, especially if that value comes into play. We'll see. But yeah, next game here. Boom. Pirates, Rockies. It almost did it again. Every time I do these slides, it always wants to skip the Cardinals. So I'm glad I checked here. So Diamondbacks, Cardinals, 9 over under here. Cardinals favorited. Smith taking on Martinez. Smith 6.6K. I just don't have a ton of interest here. The Cardinals aren't bad. They're not great. They don't always get there, right? They project high. They look fine when you watch the games. Smith 26.4% strikeout rate. I don't mind that. The walk rate's a little high though, 11% walk rate. He just doesn't get a lot of ground balls and really relies on getting the fly balls. And I think in the long run, when you're facing, good hitting teams, it's not going to be the best result. There's just too many good pitching options on the slate. Martinez on the other side, 7K, a big fat no thank you there. 15% strikeout rate, 10% walk rate, just about. He does get those ground balls, 52%. He just gives up a ton of contact. Diamondbacks bats, they're not very good either. But we might need to go to the Diamondbacks because we need some salary savings. Cabrera is really, really cheap at 2.5K. That's somewhat intriguing to me because I think he does have power upside. Rojas hit a home run yesterday, leading off 3.2K. We'll see what the lineup brings, but maybe for some value and you're trying to do a 5-3 Padres Rays stack or something. I don't think the Diamondbacks are the worst that you can get to. And then on the other side with the Cardinals, Arenado 5.6K, I think is fine. Once in a while, he'll hit a home run, but mostly with the Cardinals, I think I'm just going to lean towards fading. Molina, Carlson, Goldschmidt, I think in play here. Honestly, my opinion, my favorite bat probably would be Molina. I hate to say it, 3.6K. It's not that expensive. He's far better than a lot of these, trash, bottom of the lineup type of catchers who are just kind of filling in. I think he's a good hitter. He's a pro. Diamondbacks pitching doesn't scare me there. So I think it's Molina and then maybe the fade for the rest of the team. But if you're making multiple lineups, I could see why you'd get to the Cardinals here. So next we have the Pirates Rockies, 11 over under here. Rockies are favorited at home in Coors. Oh man, it feels like it's been a while since we've had a Coors game here, right? DeYoung taking on Marquez. DeYoung will start there, 5.3K, just no thank you there. And then on the other side, Marquez 7.7K. I think it's interesting. He's got a 24.3% strikeout rate, 10% walk rate here, 25.5% fly ball rate. And the ground ball rate is nice at 53%. He actually has been pretty good, despite what a lot of people might say. People seem to want to diss on this dude. And even at home, he's been excellent. I think he can get 20 to 23 fantasy points here. I think he can also get -7. So I don't know what we're going to see out of him today. It's not like the matchup is scary. This is kind of more of a game theory move here, right? Because the Pirates could be really high owned because Pirates bats are very cheap. And Marquez is somewhat cheap too, maybe not cheap enough for some people. So it just depends on how the game script goes in your head. I think Pirates bats are in play because of price. I think Marquez is in play because of price and because he can get it done. So it's interesting. Pirates bats, Reynolds, I think far too cheap. I wouldn't mind him as a one-off. The lefties are far better against Marquez. Moran 3-1. He was day to day. I think he was pulled out of the game. He got hit on the wrist here. But I think he might be back here as opposed to Correa, who might get a couple days off. So keep an eye on out on Moran. Polanco, another lefty I don't mind with some power upside at 3K. And then on the other side with the Rockies, they're very much in play too. Pirates, their pitching isn't all that great. Toppy at 4.3 for value. Stories definitely in play. McMahon at 5.2. He hits a lot of home runs at home. I don't mind getting to a Rocky stack and like maybe fading Blackman. I think Blackman just has the name. He hasn't really produced a lot of the results. He's expensive. So I think a Rocky stack could be interesting if you kind of take out Blackman. But I think both sides in play. Obviously, it's Coors cash games. Yeah, for sure. But GPPs, I can make the argument to fade as well here. So we'll see. It just depends on how you feel. Next, we have the Rangers A's 8.5 over under. Fulton Newit's taking on Caprillion. A's favored it here. Fulte, 5.2K, not interested there. A's can be pretty tough in the power department there. It doesn't look good for Fulte, who is a fly ball pitcher, 46.6% hard contact. He's just so bad against left-handed batters, and he's probably going to give up at least one home run here, right? And then in the other side, Caprillion, 8K, 25% strikeout rate, just about. He is walking a lot of dudes, about 11.5, 11.4% of the time. 48% fly ball rate, gives up a lot of hard contact at 42.4%. And he also is not great against left-handed batters. The over-under is at 8.5, right? We're playing in Oakland, where the ballpark isn't really great for hitting, right? I'm going to kind of probably try to, even ironically, it's not great for hitting, which makes me doesn't want to stack, but I'm going to home run hunt here, right? Like if I need a one-off, Gallo at 3.9K is far too cheap. I like him a lot here. Is my favorite bet in this particular game. Lau at 4.2, low, 4.2. I can make the argument to fade him. Garcia at 4.2, I don't mind at all. Those are the three bats for sure. It's the two lefties and then Garcia because he is super, super talented. And then on the other side, Olsen, 5.9K. It is pricey. He deserves it though. He's been on fire. He's crushing it. I really hope he gets in the home run derby. He looks good against a fly ball pitcher who sucks against lefties. I think it's a good spot for him. No doubt about it. So those are the bats in that one. Next and final one. If you made it this far, congratulations. And I hope you win some goddamn money. 7.5 over under here. You have the Giants taking on the Dodgers. Dodgers favorited at home. Gossman taking on Buehler. I think this is a very interesting matchup here. Gossman at 9.6K has looked so good this season. And I know he's facing the Dodgers here, but I really think I'm pretty interested here. I'm not all in on him, but 31.6% strikeout rate. I think the price is pretty fair. He does have good control, 45% ground ball rate this year. Opponents are hitting 157 batting average against him. Right-handed batters are hitting 134 with a 188 on base percentage. Dodgers have plenty of right-handed bats. This is going to be an interesting game for sure. So I definitely have interest in Gossman. And then on the other side, Buehler, 10.3K. He's not going to blow you away in strikeouts, 24% strikeout rate. I think that's fair, right? With him on a lot of slates, it's kind of like game theory a little bit. Like he's always going to have the high price tag, but if the ownership's not there, I don't mind playing him because I think he's a pretty good pitcher just overall. 39% fly ball rate, 34% hard contact rate. So the hard contact isn't as high as a lot of pitchers. I think he's just a good pitcher. If Yastrzemski is out for the Giants, I'm pretty interested in Buehler. I will say that right now. And then on the other side, Betts, I think, is very much in play at 6K. Seems like he's starting to heat up a little bit. Muncy and Bellinger, the two lefties that I would pay for. Bellinger is just still really cheap. I don't know what DraftKings is thinking, man. But 4.1K is low. But those are the two lefties I don't mind against Gausman. The Dodgers are probably going to go low owned, right? This is just an overall interesting game, but remember 7.5 over under is is what Vegas is saying. So interested in both pitchers here. Don't mind taking both of them in the same lineup. So we'll see how that goes, but that is it. Thank you for watching. Big 15 game slate tonight. Best of luck to you. Make sure you hit that like button, the one, boom, like that. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Got links all over the place in the description, right on the video. Make sure you subscribe. Don't miss out on any future content. Good luck. Drop a comment below. What are some of the stacks or what interests you today? Are you going to be playing some of those bad weather games? And good luck. Until next time, peace.